Tonight is Game 6 of the NBA Finals. It's do or die for the Boston Celtics. I am also in a New York state of mind today, and the National and American League Cy Young races are heating up, along with the American League Central and the National League Central races. I will have that today on a special Thursday edition of the Scott Manning YouTube Sports Weekend Kickoff, and we will start the show right after this.
Where it began, I can't begin to know, but then I know it's growing strong. Was in the spring, then spring became the summer. Who'd have believed it'd come along? And touching hands, reaching out, touching me, touching you. Good times never seem so good. And it don't seem so lonely. We fill it all with only truth. And when I heard burden was off my shoulders, how then I heard warm, touching warm, reaching out, touching me, touching never seemed so
All right, that was Sweet Caroline by, hold on here.
Agnes. First time in the big city. Second decade in a fearless trio. Third double scoop today. And her fourth trip since hearing the words cancer-free from her Ohio health doctor.
get this show on the road, baby. We got a lot to talk about here, and I'm going to go ahead and get started right now with just as soon as I do a little fixer-upper job here. All right, let's get started. Tonight is a crucial Game 6 of the NBA Finals. It's do or die for the Boston Celtics. But let's go back to Game 5 and see where everything went wrong for the Celtics. They had 16 turnovers in Game 5. Despite the fact they out-rebounded Golden State 47-39, and Steph Curry of Golden State had no three-pointers in the ball game. Points in the paint, Golden State was at their best. Despite the fact they only went 9 of 24 from beyond the arc. That's only 22.5%, people. Klay Thompson, he was the real hero of the game. 5 of 11 from beyond the arc. The rest of the team was only 4 of 29, for crying out loud. Andrew Wiggins was a real hero. 26 points, 13 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Klay Thompson had 21. Steph Curry only had 16 for the game. And Gary Payton came off the bench with 15 points, grabbed 5 boards. Those 5 players were combined 34 of 67 for the game. But as for the Boston Celtics, what went wrong? Now, Jason Tatum had 27 points, 10 rebounds. Marcus Smart managed to grab 20 points himself. Jaylen Brown had 18 points, 9 rebounds in the ball game. And even Robert Williams III even grabbed the double digits by going 10 points, 8 rebounds in the game. At the free throw line was another reason why the Celtics lost. They only shot 67.7% from the charity stripe. I mean, Boston took the lead at one point, and I'm thinking, all right, they're going to win this thing. They're going to win on the road and have a chance to go home and put it away in Game 6. The Celtics have to win Game 6 tonight at home to be able to force a Game 7 on a Sunday night. What needs to happen? Well, first they can't turn the ball over more than 10 times. They've got to fix the turnover problem. That is a huge thing. That's the big point. And that's the bottom line. And to be fair, Golden State, they can't shoot 22.5%. If they want to win Game 6 tonight, they got to hit threes and hit them often. You can't go 9 of 40 from beyond the arc, and you can't expect Klay Thompson to do all the damage. Now, in Game 5, Andrew Wiggins was the player of the game. But he grabbed 26 points and grabbed 13 boards. So, Game 6 tonight, 9 o'clock on ABC. I know I'm going to be watching. And you guys know my disdain towards Golden State. And you have to kind of excuse that because I was a Cleveland guy. When the Cavs would go to the finals and they finally knocked them off, I was a happy camper. So, Boston, you can't turn the ball over more than 16 times if you want to win. With Golden State, you got to hit more than just 9. You can't go only shooting 22.5% from beyond the arc for the game. And that's a major problem. And that is why the Boston Celtics, they lost because they turned the ball over 16 times. If it hadn't been for that, the bigger story would have been Golden State's three-point shooting. And that's just all there is to it, everybody. And that's just all there is to it. Game 6 tonight at 9 o'clock on ABC. Now, there's one other thing I do want to do. Now, we're going to go ahead and move on. But before I do, I want to do this. Yes, folks, I am in a New York state of mind. play the NYPD Blue theme song? It's very simple. You know, at the start of the show when I said I was in a New York state of mind? Now you're about to find out why. I'm going to be talking about the top two teams in all of Major League Baseball, the New York Yankees and the New York Mets. I know it's a broken record to a lot of people, but if Dennis Franz or anybody from the cast, like Dennis Franz, Charlotte Ross, if they're watching from NYPD Blue, I know I would probably get tackled by one of those two. But anyway. Now, the New York Yankees, they have a 3-game set coming up against the Toronto Blue Jays. And they're on the road in Toronto. So keep that in mind. But what have the Yankees have done? They've got the best record in all of baseball. They've got 46 wins. Can they become world champions? A lot of people are saying yes. And I know I'm probably going to have Dennis Franz or somebody right behind me screaming about it. But Aaron Judge, he's at .313 with an on-base percentage of .384. He's got 25 home runs, 49 RBIs to his credit. The Judge is here for good. Giancarlo Stanton, what has he done? He's at a respectable 268, 13 home runs, 40 RBIs this season. There's another little one to look out for. DJ LeMahieu, he's at a respectable 256 with 5 home runs, 10 and 26 RBIs. Those three guys right there. Some people are saying, oh, Stanton and Judge have to have at least a month on the disabled, on the injured list. We'll wait and see about that. Can somebody look out behind me and see if I don't have anybody from NYPD Blue behind me? But what about the pitching? We talked about the power hitting, but the pitching has really stepped up. Jamison Talion, he has a 7-1 record with a 2.93 ERA and 52 strikeouts to his credit. But Garrett Cole, think about him. A 6-1 record with a 3.33 ERA. He leads the team in strikeouts with 91. But Nestor Cortez, and I'm going to be talking about him a little later in the show. He has a 6-2 record with a 1.94 ERA and 75 strikeouts to his credit. Those are the three best starting pitchers the New York Yankees have. They're the best in the rotation. If you get one of those three in there, look out. They're hard to beat. But we also, too, keep in mind, we got another starting pitcher that doesn't get much love. And that's Michael King. He has a 3-1 record with 9 holds. Leads the team in holds with 9 and a 2.62 ERA. But the only really decent reliever that the Yankees have is Clay Holmes. 11 saves, 7 holds, a 4-0 record with a 0.29 ERA. If you get him in a relief, if you need a closer late in the game, he would be the one I want. And everybody knows why. And that's a fact of it. And that's the truth of the matter. The New York Yankees are the best team in baseball, and you've just found out why. And I'm going to be talking about a couple of these Yankees later in the show. I hate to hurt the feelings of all Cleveland fans, and I know it's going to sound crazy. But there's I'm going to be mentioning at least one or two more of the Yankees a little later on. If the Yankees can just keep the pace that they're at right now, they're going to win over 100 ball games. But there's another New York state of mind. There's another team, the New York Mets. They have the second best record in all of baseball, despite their 7 games back. Actually, 6 games back at the Yankees for that honor. They got 3 at home against the Miami Marlins. The Mets are going to be a team to beat, and you're fine. And here's the deal: the Mets have been without Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer for a good chunk of the season, but they still have hitting, and they still got some pretty good pitching. For the hitting, Jeff McNeil, he has a .324 batting average with an on-base percentage of .375. Pete Alonso, what has he done? He's hit a respectable 284 with 18 home runs, 59 RBIs. And Starling Marte, he's came on the scene here just lately. He's also hitting 284 with 7 home runs and 34 RBIs. It's time to give him some love. But everybody's been asking me, what about Francisco Lindor? What about old Frankie Lindor, the former Cleveland native? He's hitting a very well-respected 242 with 9 home runs and 45 RBIs. Those 4 hitters are the reason why the Mets are dominating the National League right now. They got a 4-game lead over the Atlanta Braves. The Braves have won 14 straight games. The Mets suffered a loss last night to the Milwaukee Brewers. They got one more. I think they got one more tonight against Milwaukee, and then they start a 3-game set against Miami. But what about the pitching? Since Scherzer's gone to the DL, what has happened? Carlos Carrasco's had to take over. He has a 7-2 record with a 3.93 ERA and 68 strikeouts to his credit. But it's Chris Bassett who leads the team in strikeouts with 81, despite the fact he has a 5-4 record with a 3.89 ERA. Carrasco, Bassett, let's get the ERA down, and then you'll see the difference. Okay, got to get that ERA down. But if you want to talk about the bullpen, I got 2 of the best bullpen pitchers that the Mets could have. Drew Smith, 12 holds this season with a 2.28 ERA. He would be a guy that I want in the middle of a ball game if needed. And Edwin Diaz, 12 saves, a 2-1 record with a 2.13 ERA. Where can you go wrong? How can you go wrong? You can't. The Yankees and the Mets, could we be talking a Subway Series this year in the Fall Classic? That has been the $64,000 question almost all season. Since it's all started. And I know somebody from NYPD Blue or somebody from one of the New York shows are probably watching this morning. And I just hope and pray I don't get gang tackled and I don't get threatened by Dennis Franz saying, you better pick the Yankees to win the World Series. Do you understand me? Sorry to all the NYPD Blue fans. I just had to do that. But anyway, the Mets and the Yankees are on a collision course. We could be talking a Subway Series in the Fall Classic. A lot of people outside of New York are going to disagree with me. And that's a fact of the matter. And I'm ready for any disagreements. If you want to debate me, let me know. And I'll have a debate with you. That's just all there is to it. Okay. Now let's leave New York. Let's leave New York for a bit. I want to ask you guys a question. With Max Scherzer on the injured list, is there a new favorite for the National League Cy Young? I'm going to say yes. I've got 3 pitchers in mind for the National League Cy Young with Max Scherzer on the injured list. I want to focus on this because it needs to be talked about. With Scherzer on the injured list, who's the best bet to win the National League Cy Young? First name that comes to mind, Joe Musgrove of the San Diego Padres. He has a 7-0 record in 11 starts with a 1.50 ERA. And the Padres team ERA is 3.30, second best in the National League. Joe Musgrove, I have him at the top of my list as potential winners of the National League Cy Young. And you've just found out why. 7-0, 1.50 ERA. I would love to have him on my team any day of the week. But there are 2 more that I want to keep in mind. The second one on my mind, Kyle Wright of the Atlanta Braves. Now he does have a 7-3 record with a 2.57 ERA, and the Braves team ERA is 3.72. Kyle Wright, I have him down as a dark horse contender. He's already 7-3 on the season, pretty good ERA. I'm going to put him down as a dark horse contender. But there's one more. And this one's coming to us from the Los Angeles Dodgers. Tony Gonsolin. He has an 8-0 record with a 1.42 ERA and 60 strikeouts to his credit. Now, despite the fact that the Dodgers and the Padres are tied atop, despite the fact that they're both tied atop of the National League West, it's a huge deal. Musgrove and Gonsolin, if these two pitchers were to ever face off anywhere during the season, it would be a great pitcher's duel and it would be worth the price of admission. And I'm going to tell you, Musgrove or Goslin are going to win. One of those two, the way it looks right now, one of those two could win the National League Cy Young, with Scherzer on the injured list. At the start of the season, I said Max Scherzer, the National League Cy Young was his to lose. But now, it may be Musgrove or Goslin's to win. Those two are going to battle it out the rest of the way. For the National League Cy Young, you better be ready. And that's all I have to say about that. Now, somebody asked me about the National League Cy Young, but somebody asked me about the American League Cy Young the other day. I got 3 pitchers in mind. 2 from New York, 1 from Houston. The first pitcher that I have in mind is Nestor Cortes. And you know about the 6-2 record with a 1.94 ERA and 75 strikeouts. He's at the top of my list. Now, I know Garrett Cole leads the Yankees in strikeouts with 91. But I have a concern. The 3.33 ERA. That is the one thing that's holding me back from giving Garrett Cole a shot at the American League Cy Young. And the pitcher from Houston that I have in mind, Justin Verlander. An 8-2 record with a 1.94 ERA and 78 strikeouts to his credit. Folks, it's going to come down to Nestor Cortes and Justin Verlander for the American League Cy Young. One of those two will win it. And if that doesn't happen, I'll be in a state of shock. Now, those are the Cy Young issues that I've had. But now, we have 2 divisions in Major League Baseball that are close. Now, I know the National League West, the Dodgers and the Padres are sitting tied atop of the division. And the reason why I'm concerned about the Dodgers, they got a 3-game set coming up against the Cleveland Guardians. Oh, boy. I'm not looking forward to that. But anyway, the Minnesota Twins lead the American League Central by 2.5 games over the Cleveland Guardians. Luis Reyes, Jorge Polanco, Byron Buxton, the three best power hitters that the Twins have right now. Reyes, a 3.54 batting average and an OBP of 438. He's a dangerous individual. Jorge Polanco, what has he done? He's at a respectable 245 with 7 home runs and 33 RBIs this season. And Byron Buxton, a 227 batting average, 18 home runs, 32 RBIs. Now, I know Buxton's batting average has been a little bit down, but if he can get that up, he could be a force to be reckoned with. But the pitching, you'll be surprised by this. The best pitcher that the Twins have as far as starters go is Joe Ryan. A 5-3 record with a 2.81 ERA and 45 strikeouts. But let's think about, they only have 2 really good relievers that the Twins have, surprisingly. Joe Smith, 12 holds, one of the best middle relievers that the Twins have, with a 1-1 record and an ERA of 3. Is that another force to be reckoned with? We'll have to wait and see on that. But the best closer that the Twins have is Emilio Pagan. 9 saves, 1 hold, a 2-1 record with a 2.45 ERA. The Twins' hitting's been really good. It's just the pitching needs help. That's the thing. But what about the Cleveland Guardians? You got Mr. 300, Jose Ramirez. A 307 batting average with a 402 on-base percentage, 16 home runs, 62 RBIs. He decided to stay in Cleveland because he wanted to stay loyal. Stephen Kwan, a 2.72 ERA with a 1 home run and 16 RBIs. Despite only 1 home run, he's hitting 272. Not a bad deal. Ahmed Rosario, he may only have 1 home run and 14 RBIs, but he has a 271 batting average. Now, I know it sounds bad. 2 players, 2 home runs combined. But you have a 272 and a 271. That's not a bad deal. But the pitching, I do have some concerns. Cal Quantrill. He has a 4-3 record with a 3.38 ERA and 40 strikeouts to his credit. He leads the team in wins with 4. Shane Bieber, the Beeb. He has a 3-3 record with a 3.01 ERA, and he leads the team in strikeouts with 75. But if you want relievers, the Cleveland Guardians have got it. Eli Morgan. He's one of the best motor relievers. He leads the team in holds with 5. He's also got a 2-2 record with a 1.82 ERA. And the best closer that the Guardians have, Emmanuel Clays. 13 saves and a 1.71 ERA. He would be a closer that I would want in the clutch if needed. Now, the Minnesota Twins have a 3-game set coming up against the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Guardians have one more against the Colorado Rockies, and then they got to play at Dodger Stadium in a 3-game set over the Dodgers. I'm worried. And that's all there is to it. I want to talk about the National League Central. The Central, I want to talk about that because there's been a huge change in momentum. The St. Louis Cardinals now have a 1.5-game lead over the Milwaukee Brewers going into the weekend. But I'm going to talk about these two teams a little bit more in just a few minutes. The St. Louis Cardinals. Old Goldie, my friends, Paul Goldschmidt. He's been Mr. Power Hitter all season. A .347 batting average, a .430 on-base percentage, 16 home runs, 56 RBIs. I would take him any day of the week. But I have 2 more that I would take. Tommy Edman. What has he done? He's at a well-deserved 285. 7 home runs, 26 RBIs. I would want him in the clutch if I needed him. But there's one more I would want. Nolan Arenado. Now, what has he done? He's at a respectable 271. 11 home runs, 41 RBIs. I would want him too. But let's look at the pitching for a second for the St. Louis Cardinals. Miles Mikolas. The other night, he was 1 strike away from a no-hitter against the Pirates. But despite that, he has a 5-4 record with a 2.62 ERA, and he leads the team in strikeouts with 66. But what about Adam Wainwright? A lot of people have asked me about him. What is going on with Wainwright? Well, he does have a 5-4 record with a 2.84 ERA and 55 strikeouts to his credit this season. Wainwright's had his struggles, I admit. But if he can pick it up, he's going to have over 100 strikeouts for the season. But if you want relievers, the Cardinals may have it. Genesis Cabrera. He has 10 holds to his credit. And he's even got a 3-1 record to go with that with a 2.20 ERA. Another one I would want is Giovanni Gallegos. 9 saves, 2 holds, a 2-2 record, a 2.92 ERA. This guy's Mr. Do-It-All. I would want him as I would have to give him a chance as a starter. Think about the Cardinals and what they've done. They've come back, they've caught the Brewers, taking the lead in the National League Central. Now, let's talk about the Brewers, because the Brewers have had their struggles. They've only 3-12 since they were only 3-12 since May 30th. What is going on? Well, I might be able to answer that for you. Roddy Tellez. He's only hitting 248 with 10 home runs, 38 RBIs. He's only hitting 248. Think about what the Cardinals are doing. Think about what Goldschmidt's doing by himself. Christian Yelich. He has a 242 batting average with an on-base percentage of 327. He's not doing much either. Now, despite the fact he has 6 home runs, 22 RBIs. And Andrew McCutchen. He was a pickup from the Phillies during the offseason. He's only hitting 231 with 4 home runs, 25 RBIs. The hitting has been a little bit weak. But the pitching, I got some concerns. Starting pitcher Eric Lauer. He only has a 5-2 record with a 3.36 ERA and 67 strikeouts. That's not bad. Corbin Burns. He has 100. He's at the century mark in strikeouts with 100 and a 2.52 ERA, but he's only got a 4-4 record. That's the one thing that concerns me. In Milwaukee, you better be worried too. But if you want a relief, if you want 2 relievers, I got the 2 best for you from the Brewers. Devin Williams, 14 holds, 4 saves, a 2.63 ERA. I would want him any day of the week. And another reliever I would want, and this is a definite, Josh Hader. 19 saves and a 0.92 ERA. He's dangerous in the closer role. And that's just all there is to it. And that is a dangerous fact. Now, the reason why I want to talk about I'm talking about the Cardinals and the Brewers a little bit more in depth, because starting on Monday, these 2 teams have a 4-game set coming up. Starting on Monday, this 4-game set coming up this coming week, it could be make or break for one of these 2. It could be make or break for Milwaukee, because right now they're a game and a half back and they're struggling. The Cardinals, they're just clicking on all cylinders right now, and everybody knows it. If the Cardinals even take 3 out of 4, that is huge. Whoever takes 3 of 4 in this series is going to be a huge momentum swing. Even if you get a split, in my opinion, you get a split of the series, it's not going to solve anything at all. In this 4-game set, whoever takes 3 out of 4 is really going to be in the driver's seat. You don't even have to get a sweep, in my opinion, with these 2 ball clubs. And everybody knows why. The Cardinals have old Goldie Paul Goldschmidt. He was named National League Player of the Month about a month ago. At one point, he was hitting 404. He's got to settle down to 347. But the Brewers don't have much hitting at all. They have their hitting has been suspect. Their pitching's been good, but not great. And the truth is, with this 4-game set coming up next week, everybody knows what's going to be at stake in the National League Central. It's always been the hottest contested division, always has been, always will be. And that's the truth of the matter on this day. I'm not going to close it out with any extra closing thoughts because I've just already given it to you. And that's my take for today. Okay, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. I want to let you guys know tonight, right after Game 6 of the NBA Finals, I will be doing a complete wrap-up of Game 6. We'll either be talking about the Golden State Warriors being NBA World Champions, or we'll be talking about getting ready for a Game 7 on Sunday night. I want to thank you guys so much for being with me here on this day. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. My name is Scott Manning. All you have to do is type my name, scroll down, look for this pretty face, click subscribe, and you will see all the sports videos I have done so far. I am going to close the show with the theme song to NYPD Blue because I got the whole entire 15 squad standing right behind me, and I've already been threatened by old Andy Sipowicz himself. I want to thank you guys so much for being with me here on this day. You guys have a fantastic day. Thank you so much.